Hi, everybody. It's Anne Marie, and I'm still in my organizing kick. I will not be ending anytime soon, unfortunately. So, today I'm working on my project lifestyle cards or cut apart cards, um, journaling cards, whatever it is you want to call them. I'm working on those. My 3 by 4 inch cards primarily. Some of them are 4 by 6. Other random sizes, but that's the general gist. And what you just saw was my container. It it used to house like a little plant kit. You could plant some little sunflowers on your windowsill. It was super cute. So when I was done with that, I cleaned it out, added some of that shelf liner stuff to the bottom so it wouldn't scratch up my stuff, and it held my cards perfectly. And so what you see me doing here is I'm writing out all of my categories. I have a lot of categories. Um, I tend to be an overthinker, so my categories can be very, 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 very specific. I'm also going through a big paper reorganization right now, and again with the categories, it's there's so many categories. But I do find that I'm primarily a theme scrapper, and so it's helpful to have stuff broken down by categories for me. I also like to mix and match between manufacturers. Um, and I'm not a collection only scrapper for the most part, although it does make things easy. So I like it. I'm just not that person all the time. So what I'm doing right now is going through and I'm going to sort my cards by color. I'm going to also pull out those categories. So if you're curious what my categories ended up being, I've included it in the description box below. So you can just click there to read both the categories that I have started with and the categories that I've kind of ended with, because I was able to combine several. But right now, basically anything remotely themed, I'm pulling out into a separate pile. I'm also looking at each card and considering which side I like best. If I don't like either side, it goes in the pile um, of art supplies for my kids or lunchbox notes. And if I, there's one, I don't know if we'll see it here soon or not, but if it's got a theme, but I don't think I would use it based on that theme, then I still sort it by color. So the one that I'm thinking of, it's like a vintage style with little roller skates. I want to say it's crepe paper. Um, and it's super cute, but I'm not ever going to think to use that on a roller skating page. So, and I don't really think of scrapping in a vintage style either. So I just end up putting it with pink because it's super cute and I would just use that as a background element. So I'm just kind of more of the same. So what I'm thinking with these videos is it's not in real time because I have sped it up. But when I'm organizing and cleaning and doing things like this, it's helpful for me to watch other videos on YouTube that are kind of doing something similar and have them going in the background. Not necessarily have somebody yapping at me, but just there's that card. But just the camaraderie maybe of somebody else is kind of doing the same thing I'm doing. So what I was thinking with it, I'm including all of it. I'm including every single card as I contemplate it and decide where to sort it. And I'm not doing that because I think other people want to watch me contemplate and sort every single card necessarily, but maybe you just want it on in the background while you're doing the same thing. So I'm gonna shut up now for a little while. I might be back later and talk a little bit more when there's things that I think of as I watch this with you. But for the most part, I'm just gonna let this be almost like a visual ASMR video. You get to see the organization appear out of the chaos. See, I couldn't even stay away that long. Um, we've seen some little frame cards go by, and those are not going to be. I put them in the theme pile, but it's basically that's the pull this out of the cards pile. I'm going to put those with my frames because they're frames. So I don't know why they got stuck in there. A lot of these you'll see me, look at one side. There's a couple that are really sports themed, and we're just not a sports family, so I flipped a lot of those over. I'm flipping them to the side I think I'm most likely to use. I mean, some of them I do like both sides, but I'm still flipping to whatever side I think I'm most likely to use. Although I've been known before to pull out cards and then end up liking the other side and using it, even if it's a completely different color. So that does mean I'm going to end up with some duplicates, of especially like cut apart cards that have a pattern on the back if I didn't care for the pattern on the front. But that's okay. I don't know about you guys, but I use a lot of those pattern ones. I'll back whatever the word one or more themed one is that I'm using. I'll tuck extras of those colorful ones behind them. So they're supporting, the layout itself, but it's kind of looking like you've just dropped some cards on the layout or tucked some underneath the photo. Oh, right here, look at that. Oh, that's so cool. It's trying to get a close up so you can see it. It's these little cards that young ladies used to trade with each other, and they would sign the back. They had books that they stored them in, and it was this whole huge thing. I kind of remember um, reading about it. It was either the Little House books or the Anna Green Gables books where they did that, and I came across them in a thrift store once, and I still find them kind of tucked away in all my stuff. I just don't do a vintage distressed style very often, but they're so beautiful, and it's so cool that it's actual ephemera, it's actual history or whatever. Somebody loved that and cherished that and picked that out because it was pretty, and I don't know, I like that. All right, so PSA, don't use washi as color dividers. All of my stuff, like you saw, it all fit into one bin. And so I thought I was being really clever by putting a piece of washi folded over as a tag. Some of them left a mark. They left like a little greasy spot. So, I mean, we all know that washi is not technically it's not a scrapbooking only material. So you're going to find washi that is not necessarily archival safe or acid free. Um, and it's kind of a use at your own risk thing. And that really proved it for me because I thought, well, I'll just put washi on and it's like masking tape. It'll just come off. Well, I've been around long enough to know masking tape gets brittle or can leave marks after a long time too. So don't do what I did. So as we're going through this, I keep finding these gorgeous little cards and stuff. They're so pretty. And I just want to say thank you um, to some scrapbooking friends that gifted them to me. When I first did some, like ventured into pocket scrapbooking, it was to make a heritage type album for my mom and dad for a Christmas gift. And I just found I really didn't hardly have any. I didn't have very many of these types of cards. And the Project Life cards were still being produced and everything then. Um, and a lot of my online friends had big sets of like multiples and were willing to share with me. And that was so sweet of them. So I don't know. Does anybody else do that? Like, do you remember where you got your supplies from? And then that's kind of its own little memory or reminiscence almost. I don't know. It might be weird. Like, I can remember that time in my life. I was staying home with the kids. I don't know. There's just a lot of little things that come with it. All right, so I've got all of the 3x4 cards pretty much sorted by broad color strokes. So now what I'm going back and doing is if there's any really big categories, I'm breaking those down a little bit more. So I have a lot of red, pink cards. So I'm going through and I'm splitting those up into red and pink. And I think later I'll do like blue and blue green or green and blue green. and split those out. And the cards that are fine, I'm going ahead and filing them rainbow order back in my little organizer, which I'll show later. I know a lot of times when I'll discuss sorting paper with various people, it comes up about multicolored paper, or in this case, multicolored cards. I just have a rainbow category because there's plenty of times that I want to use all of the possible colors. So I just have a category that's just going to be for lots of colors. And otherwise, I just go based on the predominant color. All right, so there's all my 3x4 cards, but I do have some 4x6, so I'm splitting those out, and the 4x6 will go back behind them. Some of these are not 4x6 cut apart cards, like the first ones you saw me pull out. Those were mini album pages from something ages and ages ago, early 2000s. But they fit well. They're actually a little larger than 4x6, but in general they fit my storage well, and that's what exists now is 4x6 cards. So So that pile there on the left, that was all of my themed cards. So they got homed in their themes, but here's my little organizer, and it's really easy to flip through and find what I need. So thanks for hanging out with me, and I hope you have a great day, and I'll see you later. Bye.